In solo leveling, after failing to extract the shadow of the legendary dragon Kamish, Jin Woo quietly returns to his hotel. There, he's met by Woo Jin-chul, who immediately asks why he had been unreachable. Jin Woo casually explains that he was in a place without any reception for a short time. Jin-chul then asks if Jin Woo was able to meet with Jinho. However, things quickly turn puzzling when Jin-chul mentions that Jinho left after receiving a message from Jin Woo, claiming he was waiting at the Hunter Bureau. Jin Woo, visibly confused, questions the statement. He had just come from the Bureau himself and hadn't sent any message. Something isn't adding up. Adam White steps in, noting that Jinho's name wasn't found in the Bureau's visitor logs. Jin-chul insists that's strange, explaining that a hunter from the Scavenger Guild had shown up roughly 2 hours ago to pick Jinho up. He adds that although the Scavenger Guild has close ties with the Hunter Bureau, they usually don't interfere in matters like this. The best option now, he says, is to contact them directly and clarify what's going on. Feeling a sinking sensation, Jin Woo mutters to himself about the strange vibe surrounding the situation. Laura chimes in, pointing out that Adam had just said someone escorted the vice leader of the Scavenger Guild. She then turns to Adam, asking if Jin Woo's already aware of what happened, to which Adam replies that he hasn't been informed yet. Apparently, Jinho's companions had already come by asking questions while Jin Woo was still at the Bureau. Laura assures him that they'll get to the bottom of things quickly. But as he turns to include Jin Woo in the conversation, he suddenly realizes Jin Woo has vanished. Now racing across rooftops, Jin Woo blames himself. Ever since he used Shadow Exchange to save Jinho's father, he had neglected to assign a shadow guard to Jinho. If anything happened to him, it would be due to that single mistake. With urgency, he shouts, "Come forth," and slides across the edge of a building, ordering his summons to search for Jinho immediately. As his shadows scatter in all directions, the scene shifts. Thomas Andre and his squad are finishing off a group of suited men, their bodies sprawled out on the ground. Removing his glasses, Thomas sighs, realizing he's crossed a line. He growls out an order, to locate Huang Dong Su before Jin Woo does, no matter what it takes. Meanwhile, Huang Dong Su stands over a bloodied and battered Jinho, a sinister grin stretching across his face. Jin Woo stands atop a tall building, silently gazing down at the city beneath him. Through the senses of his shadow soldiers, he listens in on the voices and movements of the people below, scanning for any sign of Jinho. Could he have already left the city? Jin Woo doubts it. Jinho may only be a D-rank combat-type hunter, but even against a crowd of regular people, he should be able to hold his own. If a vehicle that was supposedly headed toward the Hunter Bureau's headquarters suddenly turned around to leave the city, Jinho would definitely sense something was off and fight back. The only trace the culprits left behind was the mention of the Scavenger Guild. The Scavenger Guild. Huang Dong Seok's younger brother, Huang Dong Su. He must have been biding his time, waiting for Jin Woo and Jinho to set foot in America, all to uncover the truth behind his brother's death. Jinho and Jin Woo were the only survivors from that dungeon raid. Huang Dong Su must be convinced that one of them, or both, killed his brother. Who would have thought that Woo Jin-chul's old warning would come true? Jin Woo doesn't regret the choice he made back then, but still. All of this might have been avoided if he had simply assigned a shadow to protect Jinho. If anything happens to him now, the blame rests on his shoulders. Meanwhile, in a different part of the city, Thomas Andre demands updates. Asking for any developments, he questions whether Huang isn't afraid of death. After all, as an S-rank hunter, Huang should understand the difference in power between himself and Sung Jin Woo. For him to pull something this reckless, Thomas decides it's time to act personally. Thinking he's perhaps been too lenient with his guild members, Thomas turns to Laura for a report. She informs him that with the cooperation of the Hunter Bureau, they've tracked Huang Dong Su's movement patterns over the past month. There have been 3 occasions where he veered off his usual routine. Hearing this, Thomas orders her to deploy all available hunters to those locations, and says he'll be heading out too. But then he pauses, asking how she managed to get the Bureau to cooperate so quickly. Laura explains she simply told them the truth. If Huang Dong Su isn't found soon, a clash between Thomas and Jin Woo is inevitable. Meanwhile, Adam White reports that all Scavenger Guild operations have come to a halt. Every scheduled raid has been canceled, and all hunters are mobilizing. The deputy director of the Hunter Bureau hears the news and immediately understands. If every Scavenger Guild member is on the move, Thomas Andre must be leading the charge. Something massive is about to unfold. Elsewhere, inside an old abandoned factory, one of the guild members nervously asks Huang Dong Su if he's sure about what he's doing. Calm and composed, Huang responds that he doesn't intend to harm Jinho. There's just one thing he wants to know. Thomas may have warned him not to lay a finger on Jin Woo, but Huang never planned on it anyway. There was someone else who could give him the answers he needed. Turning to Jinho, he tells him if he just speaks honestly about what happened in that dungeon, about what really happened to his brother, he'll let him go without a single scratch. All he wants is one sentence, one truth, that Jin Woo killed his brother. As soon as Huang hears those words, he's done with Jinho.